King Bob is both a guy and a band. I created a character named King Bob so that I could separate myself a little bit from what I was doing. We're very scrappy, very working class. I've been a service industry worker since I was about 15 years old. A lot of the songs reflect that. And sonically, I think we kind of sound like a soup made out of 90s and early aughts radio rock.
Chan, and you are listening to Inlet Wire, your direct line to BC artists. In this episode, I'm joined by King Bob from Victoria. I'll let Jackson take us back to where the band first started taking shape.
I had wanted to start my own project since about 2018 or 2019, and I remember I was at Sled Island in Calgary with the Plodes, the band I was playing bass in at the time. Evan played drums in that band, and Reed, the sort of main guitar player and songwriter in that band, he was in King Bob when we started, before he moved back to Calgary. And I was talking to them about wanting to do this project, and I had these different names for it, these different ideas, and I asked them, and they decided King Bob was the best name that I had. And we talked about it, and I had been thinking about it for a long time. I'd been sitting on some of these songs for a while. And then the pandemic happened. Now, all of a sudden, this thing that I was starting to think about and get excited about doing couldn't really do anymore. But I think it ended up being mostly a good thing because it allowed me a couple extra years to amass all of the songs and fix them up, and most importantly, learn how to record them properly at home. And my songwriting, when I did that, took a huge leap because I could actually start to layer parts on top of each other and understand how things work together.
It's not common to see a debut album with 17 songs on it. I'll let Jackson tell us how Rookie came about.
Rookie is basically a combination of songs and ideas that I've had since I was about maybe 19 or something. Other stuff that was completed in sort of a manic fit as the pandemic was wrapping up and I was starting to think about actually being able to play live. And that's how the second half of the record is a suite, basically, where it has all of these, songs all under 2 minutes that all weave into each other. And that was basically just an attempt to get rid of all the junk in my attic, all the like little song fragments that I didn't know what to do with and hadn't done anything with. And, when I learned that some of my favorite records that do this, like Abbey Road by the Beatles or Worry by Jeff Rosenstock, when I learned that that was the reason they did it too, it gave me permission to do it, because it was just like, okay, this is what you do with these ideas. You throw them all together in a ball pit or whatever and let them bounce up against each other,
I'm in the right place
I was doing that thing where you keep clicking through new music, one track after another, and Figure It Out was the song that pulled me into King Bob.
It's funny that Figure It Out has resonated with people because it's one of the oldest songs on the album. There's a version of that song that I played. It was very different at the time, but there's a version of that song that I played in my very first band when I would have been, I don't know, 19 or 20 or something. And then it developed over time, and it's an example of why I'm glad it actually ended up taking so long, because it's way better than what I had 10 plus years ago.
I thought I'd figured it out. 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 All I wanted was to be a success. I never did.
As I kept digging into King Bob, one thing that stood out was how they used Patreon as part of the creative cycle.
When I was starting the band, I was trying to think of, you can't just always be playing gigs and you can't just always be playing merch, and there's overhead on that stuff, right? The nice thing about the Patreon is that there's no overhead whatsoever. It's a way for me to make a little bit of money and connect with the fans by doing things I would already be doing, and giving people an in-depth, behind-the-scenes look at what we're working on a week-to-week basis. What I just did for 10 weeks was I recorded a cover every week, a demo of a cover, and I'm going to open up a vote for patrons to vote on which of the 10 covers is going to get an official real recording and a real release as the B-side to, if not our next single, then the single after that. And prior to that, I was posting a demo of a new song or a song off of Rookie every week. So I really can't stress enough, like, $5 a month, patreon.com/allhailkingbob. $5, so it's okay, it's a little bit more in Canadian or whatever, price of a grande beverage at Starbucks or whatever. It's a new thing every week, usually a demo, usually a song that isn't out yet. Languishing right now in this, $150 a month hell, but I know that once it catches on and once people see what's behind there and get a sense of it, I really, really enjoy doing it. It's made the content creation part of being a musician that's a necessity now that I hate. It's made that part of it a lot more palatable and a lot more freeing and a lot less soul crushing, I guess.
I don't know how. I'm on borrowed time. I know that I'm still here somehow. And I don't even know what a diploma is, but I've been around enough to know that I deserve better than this. But I guess this is what I got in the meantime.
Before we wrapped up, I asked Jackson what he loves about King Bob.
I think what I love about being in this band and what separates it from other stuff that's happening when I look around is that we're very thoughtful. A lot of rock music is very tossed off. A lot of it is very purposely presented as, it's cool to not care, so we don't care about anything. When it comes to this band, every song is about something. It has a thought behind it, and everything in terms of the execution, the lyrics, etc., always relates back to that idea. It feels nice to get to make music that is about something and that resonates with people, particularly people who are broke, people who work tough jobs, people who are underprivileged, and feel like they're on maybe along the margins of society. I'm happy to get to be in a band that I think and hope speaks to that kind of stuff, but isn't preachy and doesn't lecture you. So yeah.
That was Jackson from King Bob. They're hard at work recording their second album with more new music on the way, so catch them live and catch them on Patreon. I'm Eric Chen and you've been listening to Inlet Wire, your direct line to BC artists.